Let us have our prayer or meditation. Om tejosi tejomoyi dehi, Om viramosi viramoyi dehi, Om balamosi balamoyi dehi, Om manyosi manyomoyi dehi, Om sahosi sahomoyi dehi. Thou art the embodiment of energy. Give us energy. Thou art the embodiment of power. Give us power. Thou art the embodiment of strength. Give us strength. Thou art the embodiment of spirituality. Give us spirituality. Thou art the embodiment of courage. Give us courage. Thou art the embodiment of fortitude. Give us fortitude, O Lord. Peace, peace unto us all. The subject of our talk this morning is Man, the Infinite Spirit. It is said that man is an infinite dreamer, dreaming finite dreams. In this statement, every word is important. First thing that is man. Man is an infinite dreamer. That means man is infinite. Infinite is an abstract word. When there is infinite, there is nothing else. Infinite does not brook any second rival. There cannot be anything finite. But how does finite exist? That it is all a dream. Then it comes to these things, man is infinite. What is the nature of this infinite? Infinite is an abstract idea, as I said. But how does it come to the finite? Why do we find that we are so finite, tiny human beings? If that be our real nature, that's the dilemma which we have to solve with our life. If not with this life, with a life to come. Upanishad says that Brahman is the infinite. There is joy only in the infinite. There is no joy in the finite. Bhumayeva sukham. If you are really infinite, why should you have to suffer? How and why were we made finite or found ourselves finite? Upanishads, one of the Upanishads goes direct into the question. Brahman is alone. He was one. Only Brahman existed. But he felt loneliness. He said, I am one, I shall become many. He has to become many, he has to dream. It can be done only in dream. So he this creation is his dream. But this dream can be broken. And in the Upanishads we find direct attempt to break this dream. Some of the sages of the Upanishad, with their spiritual experiences, delineate what man really is, what is his nature. That is important for us. Upanishadic sages did not say out of philosophical speculations, did not speak in terms of scientific discoveries. They spoke from their own experiences. And they spoke directly. In one of the Upanishads, shortest Upanishad, Isha Upanishad, then Upanishad speaks of the all-pervading entity. There one sage says, you see the sun all-pervading, a sun's light all-pervading. It gives us some idea of the infinite. In some religions, they worship the sun, offer worship to the sun, offer hymns to the sun. Don't look down upon them, they are sun worshippers, as if they belong to the lower grade of religion. But you do not know what you are speaking. There is presence in the sun as God or Brahman is all-pervading. And the sun gives us an idea of the infinite. There is a being, there is life, not ordinary life. There was eternal life. There is a Purusha. Purusha means who knows the truth. There is a being there who knows the truth. But he is covered by the disk. We do not see the truth. We do not see that being. So the prayer is, O the great being, or O the great one, withdraw thy brilliant radiance. Take back your rays so that you can see thee and find the being that is there is within ourselves. Yasabhoso Purusha Sohamosmi. I am that being. Just think of the boldness of a person who could say that. And he was not bragging. He spoke of his deep spiritual understanding. And so out of the fullness of his joy, he was saying, the being that is within you is in me. The difference is that unveiling influence. What is man? We find we are the body. And then, in a subtle way, we are the mind. My mind is also changing. there is something behind mind. That is the self, S capital, that is the Atman or Brahman or God, whatever you like. Then how to realize that? We can eliminate the physical portion. Not eliminate, we go. We can penetrate through that. Physical portion, mental portion, and then if you penetrate behind that, then we find behind every being there is infinite power, infinite blessedness. In Upanishad there are some texts called sacred texts. On those texts, persons following the monistic school of Vedanta, they meditate, they discuss, they think, try to find the meaning of that. So the sacred text should be heard and then reflected upon, then meditated upon, then the truth comes out. It is not simply intellectual thing. Approach is to some extent intellectual, of higher intellectual, spiritual. So that by thinking, by meditating, you find out that thing. One sacred text is that directly, I am He, I am Brahman, I am divine. That directly. Another is, thou art that, you who are weeping, feeling miserable. Your real nature is that, T capital. The being or the one who is behind this drama. Or another text. What is to call you self is Brahman. 5 or 6 such texts. In one of the Upanishads I find that which is there is in me. It is 3 times repeated in a small Upanishad. It is 3 times repeated. That's so filled with such ideas or other realizations. It becomes so natural. The method is just to hear, just to reflect, contemplate, meditate, think, till the truth dawns on you. Like a lightning flash, quickly it comes. It does not come slowly. When the sun rises, at once the whole space becomes flooded with light. I've seen in Himalayan monastery, sometimes I do the standing outside or early in the morning, in winter even. You could see the light comes, a little ray of light falls on the mountain called Peak Paltananda Devi. Then in 1 minute, the whole thing is flooded with light. In the same way, it comes and flooded with light when comes to realization. In the modern age, we find one sage, Swami Vivekananda. He reached that greatest height of monism. By temperament, he was rational. Perhaps monastic attitude appealed to him. But I won't say he was simply all monist. He was a devotional too. He would be shedding tears with love of God. But tendency was that, in any case, fortunately for us, we find sometimes he was talking from the highest height of monastic realization. He was pouring forth his realization in terms of words for ordinary people. And there is so much power in his words, as if he wanted bodily to lift people up to his own level. As if you'd feel amazed why they do not respond. Some did respond, but all. But he would leave none. His idea was everyone is divine. Everyone will realize his divinity sooner or later. But he wanted to have them do it just now. He wanted, as it were, physically to take them up, lift them up to his own height. Important thing is, what are the corollaries of his experience? What shape did it take when that realization comes to the plane of daily activities? He would be talking of practical Vedanta. He gave 4 lectures. Practical Vedanta means that the truths of Vedanta can be put into practice in daily life. Not only put into practice, can be realized in daily life. He said, don't think that you are so busy, you cannot practice that. In the Upanishads we find some of the sages were householders. Their busy life, at least one of them was a king. So don't think that it is impossible for you. And how to put those precepts into the activities of our daily life. One deduction is that there is infinite power in you. Intrinsically, you are the infinite being. Don't say, I am weak. I am weak. That's a great lie. He would say, have infinite faith in you, faith in your power. Oh, he would say, you may believe in millions of gods and goddesses. You have faith in gods and goddesses. If you have no faith in yourself, you are an atheist. Just see, it is so true. You fail because anyhow there comes an illusion in your mind that you have not that strength. You have not faith in you. That's the worst thing. So you could not stand that idea that one would say that I am nothing, I am nothing. Another deduction is, if you think you are divine, another person is also divine. Everyone is divine. Even the worst, weakest worms are brother to Nazarene. He spoke to the Christian audience. He said, Jesus Christ, the same power in him, the same power behind an insect, that is life. The spark of life indicates the reflection of the infinite life. Then you cannot hate anybody. You cannot call anybody a sinner. He would say it's a sin to call a man sinner. He said in the theory of Vedanta, in the metaphysics of Vedanta, the word sin has no existence. The sin is a lower form of manifestation of the divine. You just manifest the divine in a higher level, then people will call you a saint. You become virtuous. It's simply a low degree of manifestation. Just what an idea. Nobody is a sinner. Nobody is weak. You know, in some religions, the word sin has become an obsession. One does not find how can that be. Even if in terms of dualism, if there is a God who is father or mother to us, how can I be? Sin. No mother will consider her child is worthless. If you talk in human language, how can you say Swami Vivekananda could not stand that idea? But monism presupposes dualism too. Simply, it is question of words. Dualism, who prays to God, thinks God is father or mother and so on. Simply the difference of words. Monism will say, dualism will say faith, monism will say strength. Dualism will say devotion, monism will say discrimination. You discriminate, you analyze. Dualism will say heaven, monism will say here and now. Dualistic, those who pray will be waiting for heaven to enjoy things after death. Monism says if you are to enjoy things after death, why not now? Here and now. And through dualism also, dualism means love, love of God. Through love of God, one grows. Find God coming closer and closer. When one feels God is very close, one feels one belongs to God, or one is a part of God's love. Then there is the world, matter, the spirit and God, three together. It is called qualified monism. And at a higher state, that there's oneness. That is monism. So these are simply different stages. And monism is the final thing. Beyond that, nothing. Ramakrishna used to say, if you cross the black waters, you do not come back. That means at that time, when people will sail for a distant country, there is no surety that you will come back. Some did not come back. So if you go in black waters, there is nothing. You don't come back. That means you realize the highest state, and you do not come back to this mortal world. Now, such ideas, if one reads even intellectually, philosophically, with a little dedication, I mean not simply for scholarship. When one reads these things out of curiosity, spiritual curiosity, what are these things? These Upanishads, these sages, rishis, what did they say? Just with a little spiritual curiosity, if one reads, one is bound to feel a great height. One will be elevated. One will be uplifted, surely. One will become noble. People cannot but be nobler by reading these things. You remain on a higher level of thought. It becomes alive. If through intellectual understanding, if we feel so much benefit, how great will be the benefit if our approach is spiritual. We read these things to put into practice 100%, to try to practice 100%. Just what will be the effect? If that be so, we should think of those ideas day and night. Reflect on those ideas. Swami Vivekananda said once, think of these ideas. Think of the idea that you are the self, day and night. Till this idea penetrates into your very veins, till this idea tingles in your blood, till it becomes part and parcel of your flesh and bone. Repeat it day and night. If that be so, we have to think of it constantly. Outwardly we may not be a monk, outwardly we might not look to be a religious person, but silently within our heart of hearts, we shall become transformed. To think of our glorious nature, to think of our reality. What a great heritage we have. Let us remember it. Let us remember it as we begin the New Year's work. Let us try to remember as often as we can. If you forget it, we turn to that idea. Don't forget your spiritual heritage. Be strong, have faith. Don't be frightened by your shadows. When the difficulties come, they are simply shadows. You are infinite, you are omniscient, you are all-powerful. Let us remember that always. That is our prayer. Next Sunday, the subject of our talk will be One Light, Many Lamps. On Tuesday evening at 8:15, there is Gita class. All are welcome. Let us conclude with our prayer. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkhabhag Bhavet. May all be happy. May all be able to overcome the difficulties of life. May all have right understanding and the strength to follow that in practice. May all be able to reach their spiritual destiny, O Lord. Peace, peace, peace unto us all.